Hello, everybody. My name is Matt Oostveen, and I am the CTO for 퓨어스토리지 across Asia Pacific and Japan. I'm based out of Singapore, and it is my pleasure to spend the next 15 minutes with you talking about some of the innovations that we're bringing to the data center, as well as how you can manage data inside your organization. I really wish I could be there in person, but of course, unfortunately, circumstances aren't working in our favor at the moment, but I remain really hopeful that we'll be able to meet very soon face-to-face and rekindle old relationships and establish new relationships. And I know the rest of the 퓨어스토리지 team agrees with me on this one. So for the next 15 minutes, I will be walking you through some overview of the great technologies that we've already brought to market and are going to bring to the marketplace. I will be followed by a technical speaker who's going to go down into some more detail around one of the specific technologies that we're really excited to be bringing to the Korean marketplace. So without further ado, and because time is very precious today, I want to begin by just taking a moment to stop and think about what's changed in technology over the last number of years, in fact, the last number of decades, really. And if we cast our minds back to a simpler time, to the 1970s and to the 1980s, we really did have a different mechanism for purchasing products and technology. And of course, we just bought a product from brochure quite often. But then things started to change. You know, technology became more complex. Our businesses and organizations also became more complex in lockstep with that. And so in the 1990s, we started to purchase products wrapped with services. And with this, we saw a huge expansion in the value-added reseller marketplace as well to help enable end users to deploy technology more efficiently. Now, after the dot-com bubble rose and I suppose deflated once again in the 2000s, we moved to a more mature mode where we started to purchase our products as part of a solution. And this included infrastructure. So we can think about VDI, which really did come to the fore in the 2000s. Toward the end of the 2000s, we saw the genesis of a new technology category that we call converged systems. And there are other specialty appliances as well. But things have changed once again, because now we tend to want an outcome within our organizations, and we want to do that in a low-cost fashion. And this has led many people toward the cloud, because the cloud enables you to consume a product as a service, to wrap that service with a service level objective, and that gives your project the best possibility of success, both technically as well as financially, because it enables you to eliminate the forecasting risk and the scalability concerns of deploying new technologies. And this is something that we really believe in and understand intricately at 퓨어스토리지, and it does drive a lot of the new technologies and products that we've been bringing to the marketplace over the last number of years. Now, based on this also, and if you've been talking to the 퓨어스토리지 team over the last number of years, you'll know that we have an ethos of a modern data experience. And our goal with a modern data experience is to take a fragmented and an antiquated data storage platform and ecosystem, if you will, and to recreate that into a unified and automated multi-cloud utility. Now, we deliver this as a modern data experience for many customers around the world. Now, unlike a legacy infrastructure vendor, we enable customers to utilize much more of your data. And at the same time, we've always been very focused on the reduction of complexity, the injection of simplicity, and the expense that goes with, all of the complexity that we see in our data environment of managing that infrastructure behind it. So at Pure, we provide a data experience that creates a common operating environment across, if you've got multitudes of data centers, multitudes of clouds, and we inject simplicity into the operations by allowing you to manage these devices and this infrastructure via API, as well as new technology advances that we've made around intelligent AI-driven operations, and in particular, our new Fusion technology. So today we now offer our customers an integrated hybrid cloud and on-premises solution, and that's consumable as a flexible subscription to deliver that modern data experience. This is a really great slide because it tells a snapshot of the Pure story in one view. And there's two distinct elements to it. The first part is to look at the great achievements that Pure has made over the years. And today we're a $1.7 billion company. We're moving closer to having 10,000 customers. We're at 9,500 customers today. And also we've got an incredible validation from outside the organization, from organizations like IDC that we just heard from, as well as from Gartner. And you can see here that we've led the Gartner Magic Quadrant now 8 years in a row. We're really proud of that. We're really proud of our performance with the IDC MarketScape, where we're also a leader according to the IDC team. But what's most important to us isn't necessarily the external validation from the great firms of IDC and Gartner, but it's really what you customers tell us. And I think the most important measurement of customer success is the customer satisfaction score that we call the Net Promoter Score. And you can see here that we're very proud of the number of 83.5. That's our current NPS. And an NPS, of course, is a great way of determining whether a customer is getting value and enjoys doing business with you. The score that we have puts us in the top 1% of all B2B organizations around the planet. It is higher than Tesla, it is higher than Apple, it's higher than certainly than all of our competitors. Because every single person, each employee at Pure Storage is focused on the outcome for the customer. It doesn't matter whether you are the CTO, whether you're in sales, whether you're in marketing. I promise you, everybody within the Pure Storage family thinks about how we can deliver better products and services and outcomes to each of you. And we think about this on a daily basis, and that is reflected in the Net Promoter Score. Now, the second part of this slide is great because there's a bit of a history lesson in there as well. It talks about where we've been as an organization, and I think with that history lesson, you get an indication of where we're going. But to put this into my own words, I like to say that Pure began in its very early days as a very high-performance database that ran on SSDs. And there was a number of microservices attached. And one of those microservices emulated a storage array. So at its heart, and this is really important to understand, Pure is a software company, and we make our own blade chassis so that we can deliver the software in a future-proof way, because what we learned very early on as an organization is that if we were going to be able to provide our customers with the experience that they need and want from our technology, then we had to go beyond just software. We needed to be able to control both ecosystems of hardware and software. So we've got a design ethos that's really been around the elimination of hardware and software complexity. What we're focused on is reliability, is uptime, and quality. These are the things that matter most to the customers. What we learned along the way, and there's been many lessons along the way, is that complex hardware designs will require complex software. And it's software that often causes more failures than hardware. Because we engineer on both sides of this paradigm, we've been able to come up with a technology solution that minimizes the complexity and allows us to provide the ultimate levels of uptime for our customers. And where we're going next with this is quite fascinating. We are a data company at our heart. We've got massive amounts of information available to us. And so we've been able to harness the power of all of that information and utilize that for things like predictive analytics and machine learning to support infrastructure and to identify and eliminate problems before they even occur. And that's another fundamental reason that that Net Promoter Score is so high. But I want to talk to you today about where we're taking this next and what else we can do with the vast amount of information that we've got. But of course, if we are a software company at our heart, it enables us to take a different perspective on how to deploy hardware. And this is where the Evergreen program really had its genesis, because we created this program to help our customers avoid something that was a big problem for many decades and still is. And that's the forklift upgrade. And it's the technical debt that customers experience with certain types of infrastructure. Pure changed that with our Evergreen model. You can acquire, you can run, you can upgrade without ever having to rebuy the same capacity twice. And now we've wrapped around that a subscription model that gives our customers an upgrade option for their equipment without having to schedule downtime. So we really have eliminated a forklift upgrade for them. So I alluded to the fact that we're growing and that we've been expanding the services. And of course, one of the big milestones around this is Pure as a Service. It provides our customers really an on-premises and cloud storage services catalog that delivers really important benefits for them. And it gives our customers pay-as-they-go billing. It gives them the ability to be able to spend from their OPEX budget. This isn't a lease that's dressed up. It's genuinely a utility model that you can consume from Pure. So we do the full management of the infrastructure. That's all done by Pure. You don't have to monitor another box inside your environment. And if you want a short-term contract, no problem at all. If you want to do a long-term project, the ability to be able to scale up and scale down is all built into this ecosystem. So with this delivery mechanism, you've got access to our entire portfolio. You get to test them, 3 months before you even need to pay, just to see if it works suitably within your environment. And if you choose not to use it, you can basically just switch that consumption off as you would with a public cloud. Now, I alluded earlier to the fact that we're born in the digital era. We're only a little bit over 10 years old as an organization, and we've learned very early on that with data, we'd be able to radically improve the way that data services are delivered inside an organization. And this is where a technology like this is Pure One, comes into the fore. And I like to describe Pure One to people who aren't familiar with the technology by saying that it is the ultimate expression of an IoT use case meets big data. Let me explain what I mean. Around the world, we've got over 30,000 connected arrays to Pure One. Each one of these arrays has over 1,050 telemetry points. What that means is that on a daily basis, Pure One consumes over 1 trillion data hits. It means that we collect over 20 petabytes of information. And across the 30,000 arrays, there's over 140,000 traditional workloads. And of course, what we also understand is that the size of a data set is going to directly affect the output of any algorithm that works with that data set. We've got a data science team that works very closely with the information that comes through to Pure One. And we've been able to do some extraordinary things with this. Have a look here. We're able to monitor from a single pane of glass a complete ecosystem of your technology arrays. We're able to predict and preemptively understand so that you can eliminate risk and drive efficiency into your environment. You can analyze and collect insights from all of your storage arrays, and you can benchmark them against the best practices that we see across the company ecosystem. And this is where it gets very sophisticated. You're now able to model and understand the requirements for new projects. And built into this, of course, is a consumption model that allows you the self-service expansion of new technology into your environment. And we're continuing to invest in Pure One. Pure One now forms the basis for a lot of the new technologies that we're bringing into the marketplace, technologies like Fusion, technologies like Portworx data services as well, so that you can continue to improve and drive efficiency into the data platforms that you have inside your environment. And don't just listen to me. Listen to what our customers have to say. This is Andrew MacArthur from McMaster University, and he's saying that the automation features of Pure One and the fact that he can manage the Pure arrays from his phone, from a mobile device, make it a very key feature for him. And there are literally hundreds of organizations that are also getting the same benefits from Pure One. Now, the other thing I wanted to talk to you about today is Portworx, because Portworx is a really important step for us as an organization as we move into a future that is into this cloud native and container space. And we're going to dive into this after my presentation in a little bit more detail, but I wanted to introduce it to you myself because it's important. Because Portworx is the industry's leading Kubernetes data services platform. And it's leading because it helps customers not just build, but to automate and to protect and to secure cloud-native applications. So the data services, it really gets to the heart of what a developer or I suppose a Kubernetes administrator want, because they want data to behave just like a cloud service. Let me say that differently. They don't want to know how it works. They just want to know that it does work. They want to simply be able to request a data service for their requirements. So that's going to be the amount of storage perhaps they need, the performance level, the resiliency level, and let the data service figure out all of the details. And that's how Portworx behaves. Portworx enables any Kubernetes application to run on any Kubernetes distribution. So whether you run on premises, things like OpenShift and Rancher and Tanzu, or in the cloud, or any of the major hosted Kubernetes services, Portworx is agnostic to that because the software can leverage any storage infrastructure. So cloud storage in any major cloud provider, perhaps you've got bare metal inside your environment on premises, whether you've got SSDs or even hard drives. It can even run on the top of enterprise arrays. Of course, all the arrays from 퓨어스토리지, but even if you have other arrays from other vendors, Portworx will work very nicely with that as well. In fact, we've got some fantastic endorsements from other vendors of storage products about how well Portworx works. So this flexibility, it really means that Portworx is a perfect solution for every stage of the cloud native lifecycle. So whether you're exploring, whether you're bootstrapping, whether you're running a global container as a service infrastructure or anything in between, Portworx is a really great solution to be able to support that. So Portworx started really as a software-defined storage layer, and it has grown to being so much more. It's a complete data services platform. There's lots of modules in there for core storage, for backup, for disaster recovery, application and data migration, security, and infrastructure automation as well. And Portworx provides a complete set of capabilities for running all of these types of mission-critical applications inside a stateful container. And once again, as I like to say, don't just listen to me, listen to what our customers have to say. If you've got children, or if you're an avid gamer, perhaps you'll be very familiar with Roblox. And this is a quote from Rob. He's a senior technical director over at Roblox. And he says that Portworx ultimately saves costs. Okay, it allows them to hire more people and to invest more into the platform to provide a better player experience. And I think that sums this up very nicely. This is not about the consumption of a product, as I started talking about earlier in the presentation. This is about providing an outcome. This is about providing a more than a solution, but something that actually positively impacts your customers, and of course, the employees that you have inside your organization. I'd like to thank you very much for joining us today. Please stay tuned. We've got a wonderful lineup of speakers coming up. My name has been Matt Oostveen, and it has been an absolute pleasure talking to you all today. Thank you very much.